I know. Thanks, Stacy. How you guys doing today?
Tom, Bill talked about Bill's defense being one of the better defenses in the league. Can you just talk about your thoughts on them and how tough they'll be from this Sunday?
Yeah, very tough. I agree. It's they've been ranked up there for a while now, and I think they're good at all levels. So that's the challenging part. They have a good front, very good at linebacker, very good in the secondary. Play the pass well. Tough, physical, stout defense. Well coached, fundamentally sound. They play well at home. It's a great environment. So it's pretty tough. It's a great challenge. They're 3-0. They're off to a great start. They got a very good football team, and it's going to be really a great environment for football. They're going to challenge us. We have to be, this will be the toughest game we faced, and we're going to have to play a great game.
You mentioned environment twice. How much do you love playing in an environment like that where they're just on you and you're just trying to ruin all their hopes and dreams?
Yeah, that's when you go on the road in the NFL, you got to get used to that because that's a lot of what that's about. You go in there with however many got 46 active, it's five or six other guys, your coaches, a few fans in the crowd. But I think it's always gratifying when you go in there and then by the end of the game you look up and there's only Patriot fans left. I always think that's pretty cool. So to go on the road in the NFL is tough, and certainly early in the game, after their pregame tailgate when they're a little fired up. So it's they're pretty into it. They're pretty loud, and if we got to go out and we got to execute early. And I think getting starting fast, which we've actually done a good job of this year, that's really important this week.
Tom, you had Julian out there today. No surprise, right? I mean, his toughness is well documented. But,
yep.
It was questionable after the way he walked off the field, what his injury was going to be. What does it mean to have him answer the bell on a day like today?
Yeah, very much so. I said after the game, he's as tough as they come. He's faced a lot. He's a very, very tough guy. So he'll do everything he can to get ready to go. And it's certainly when he's out there, it's a big boost for our offense. He just does so many things for us, and he's so dependable, consistent. He's a great player, and when he's not out there, I mean, it's definitely noticeable for all of us. So hopefully he can make it, and if he can't, the other guys got to fill in and do the best job they could do. So he's got to prepare for both.
Bill mentioned today that the Bills are not a game plan defense. They're going to do what they do and do it as well as they can.
Yep. Do
you prefer that because you know where the challenges are going to come from generally, as opposed to something like what you guys do defensively?
Yeah, they always have, some change-ups, I would say. They definitely have a core defense they run that I would say is very fundamentally sound. I don't think it's, there's major change-ups from week to week, and I don't think you should change up week to week when you're one of the best defenses in the league. So what they do works, and what they do is, people are accounted for. There's gaps accounted for in the run game. There's zones that are accounted for in the pass game. There's man-to-man when they play that, they're accounted for. So I think it's a great style of defense because you really make the offense earn everything. And I think they have very smart players that all work well together. This Coach McDermott's, I think, third season. So he's had an opportunity to get kind of guys in there that he really likes, along with keeping guys that he really likes. So I feel like he's, pretty close to where he wants to be. And I think they're playing really well. They're playing well on offense. They got a very good defense. They're turnover driven. They win close games. It's a very good team.
This is where the whole chess match, I imagine, comes in. Okay, if we move this guy here, this is how they generally react. Is that what the week is devoted to against what we would call a standard defense, do what they do defense?
Yeah, I mean, it's you have different challenges, and based on what our personnel is and what our things we think we're confident in or that we think we can do consistently well. I think when you look at this defense, we don't think we played that well last year when we went out there. We didn't play that well at home when we beat them here. I mean, I think they're good. They challenge you. They force you to make good plays, good decisions, good reads on a consistent basis, which we're going to need to be able to do, and we got to prove to ourselves that we're capable of doing that in order to gain confidence to actually do it, when the pressure's on. So that's why we go out and practice and try to get out there and rep those things, and the more consistent, the more dependable we do it in practice, I think the more confidence that gives us to do it right in the game.
What do you think of the job that Phillip Dorsett has done, especially last year when you lost Josh, and then now with Antonio Brown?
Yeah, he's done a great job for us, and he's making a lot of plays for us. Just we put him all over the field and just continue to improve. And I think this has been a big year for Phil. He's worked really hard, put himself in a great position to take advantage of his opportunities, and he's certainly done it. So everyone's happy for Phil. Nobody deserves it more than him, and he's going to need to keep doing it. He's one of the guys that's now become one of the people on the team that you just have to count on week to week, and you have to know exactly what you're going to get. Because there's sometimes where you don't. Other guys are now putting that. He was one of those guys before that was like, man, we don't know. He was new here. There are other guys that carried a burden, and I think the veteran players who have been around, been in the tough games, know how to do it. You got to carry the burden while the other guys can get up to speed and learn. So that's part of the responsibility as a veteran player. For a guy like Phil, for a guy like Julian, James White, Joe Tooney, they were all young players at one point. Now they've become the veteran players that they got to carry, most of the burden.
How hard is James Develin? Obviously, he went down with injury. How tough is that to lose a guy like that?
Yeah, very tough because he's a tone setter for us. He's a hell of a player, great teammate. I mean, he's everything you'd look for in a teammate person. We hate not having him out there. So he'll be able to play a role, not necessarily on the field, but, for us in the locker room and practice and so forth, because he's just a great, he's just got a great, his spirit about him, his energy, everything we asked him to do is so selfless. And I think that particular position, there's not a lot of glory in playing fullback in the NFL, but he embraced that role, and I think he gained the love and trust and respect of his teammates. And, for that, we feel the same way about him.
A couple final questions. What kind of challenges does the Bills defense present when they disguise really well pre-snap what they're going to do? Bill mentioned that they don't really tip their hand before the snap too often.
Yeah, they do a good job. They do a good job of that. I think everyone's, pretty, aware on defense. I think they have a lot of veteran players that do a very good job of kind of, rocking in and out of different looks and so forth. And I think Coach McDermott puts them in a good position and Coach Frazier, they put them in a good position where they can make things look similar and then they're a little bit different. So, I've been at this for a while, so, I know what they're trying to do. They know what I'm trying to do, and I'll figure it out once the ball snaps. So try to get it to the open guy and, let him do something with it.
Tom, you mentioned after games that your
limited in
defense.
practice today. You were limited a little bit last week. I think there's no doubt that you're going to play. You always talk about that. But can you explain why, how being limited helps you be ready for when it, for game day and how it helps you?
Yeah. Football is it's a contact sport, so I wouldn't say I'm a spring chicken anymore. So I'm trying to just, feel as great as I can and see how it goes tomorrow.
So you mentioned after
feel pretty
games.
good.
Go ahead.
I feel pretty good.
What's it meant to you to have Josh Gordon as a teammate this year, just knowing what he had to put in, both football-wise and personally, to be able to be here and contributing?
He's done a great job, and he's, he just puts his head down and comes to work, and, I think what he did last game was pretty, spectacular in his own right to, that number of plays that he ran. Other guys were going down. He was getting the ball on the reverse. He got the ball on the go routes. He got the ball, and he just kept coming back to huddle, and I kept going, "You good?" And he's like, "I'm good," and he just kept answering the bell. And I think that says a lot about him and his mental toughness, his perseverance, and guys were dropping like flies out there, and he just kept getting back up. And there were a lot of big hits that he took on a very hot day, and just proud of him, what he's accomplished, and we're gonna need to continue to do it for not just him but all of us.
Tom, you placed your locker has been placed next to guys like Josh, guys like Randy Moss, a number of receivers, Drew Bledsoe going back.
Yeah.
What does that give you in terms of creating a relationship, in terms of working on rapport and the
Yeah.
playbook?
Yeah, those are always good. My locker hasn't changed much over the years in terms of where I've been at and different guys. Usually the receivers have been around me, other quarterbacks. Yeah, it's just, you have a chance to communicate when you have, a couple minutes here and there. And it's always good. I think the defensive players kind of, hang out together. We kind of hang out together, the offensive guys. The quarterbacks kind of hang out, and the O-linemen kind of hang out. But then when everyone on offense is kind of down there together, you get quite a bit of time together. So it's just, part of being in the locker room. I think all the guys, the locker room is a great place. It's a very comfortable place for a lot of guys. We kind of feel like we're all in there together and just, a team and trying to learn and understand each other so that we can go do a great job on Sunday. So.
Exactly.
I don't know, man. It was a gift. It's pretty sweet. Where's your hydration? I got my water bottle. You got your coffee. You got nothing. Who's got water in here? Water. Smart. Thank you, guys.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.